Hello, and thank you for joining me on another segment of Frequently Asked Questions with Crystal. I'm delighted to have you here, and we will continue our topic discussion of relationship concerns. This particular subject we're going to talk about today has to do with a parent and child relationship. It's a parent and a teenage child. But I don't want you to tune out, because what I'm going to discuss today is applicable to any relationship. As I discuss in my book, Communication and You, all relationship issues are in fact communication issues. So if you tune in and listen closely, there might be something that's going on in your life by way of another relationship that you can take these principles that I will share today and apply to your unique situation. So this particular situation involves a parent who is concerned that the teenage child, as the child continues to grow and develop in age, the child distances more and more. The first thing I want to point out is the health of the relationship matters. Okay, so if the relationship was rocky along the way developmentally, that could also speak to why the child is distancing. Putting that aside, children will distance anyway, and it's very needful for healthy development. As children are developing through various stages, the child has to learn how to be independent, the child has to learn how to be autonomous, and the child has to learn how to be confident in living this life ultimately as an adult. And so when children are developing and going through that very difficult teenage time, you might see some struggle and some distancing because the child is just trying to figure things out. But I want you to remember, it really does matter rather if the relationship was healthy anyway. If it wasn't, if the relationship is not healthy, you're gonna probably have even more compounded difficulties with this relationship because of the other variables that are involved. Here's what's true for every human being, even if the person does not articulate it this way. Everyone wants to be heard, understood, and respected for who they are, even if you disagree. And we want the same thing, right? Although I do understand as we are parenting, that's harder to do because we really want our children to be the best, and we want them to be close to us. We want them to confide in us. We don't want to lose them along the way. But children need that same respect that we need. Let's say if it's in a marital relationship, marriages often experience difficulty and disconnect when people don't feel heard and understood. Co-workers often feel like they do not want to show up for work, right? Morale is low when co-workers don't feel respected, heard, and understood. Siblings, it doesn't matter, friends, BFFs, homeboys, it doesn't matter who it is. People will begin to distance if they don't feel respected, a part of, cared for. And if you are experiencing problems in a relationship, you might want to take a look at what's going on there, right? If you're not satisfied, if you notice that you're distancing yourself, check the health of that relationship. Okay, so here's some key factors. If you are going to not non-judgmentally be with your child, that could be a struggle, but remember, it's necessary. So the way that you can effectively do that is to take the time to understand who your child is uniquely. It might also be important to remember what it was like when you were growing up, how awkward it was, and maybe your parent did some things that you didn't like. Maybe you didn't feel heard and understood. Then why would you want to do the same thing to your child? So do a little reversal there and be there for your child with tools, with education, with understanding that your child still needs you for guidance and for directing and to be a good mentor to that child. But that child certainly does need your compassion and your understanding, and oftentimes your forgiveness. okay? Because along the way, as we develop, we do make mistakes. I want you to again remember that this is not only applicable to the parent-child relationship. I'm talking about those relationships that you're suffering with, and you're having difficulty communicating, and the intimacy is fading, and you guys are not clicking on cylinders like you once did when you first met. Usually something has happened along the way by way of trust, or the person might feel like you're not as interested in who they are. Maybe the person doesn't feel as supported. Maybe you've hurt each other along the way in your relationship dynamics, and so now you don't even like each other. It's okay. You know, we don't always like each other. Sometimes I don't like myself, but at the end of the day, I do love myself. And so if there's some things that I need to change about me so that I can like me more, I'll just go ahead and make those changes, make those shifts that are necessary so that I can like myself more. And that's what I'm going to do for others in my life, and that's what you're going to do as well. I hope this has been helpful, and remember, you may submit your questions, comments, concerns to me at communicationandyou2@gmail.com. Crystal Scott, L as in lovely, M as in Mary, F as in Frank, T as in Tom. I do look forward to hearing from you. Until we speak again, you have a great rest of your day. Bye.